Good morning, it's Jeffrey Cohen, President, Founder of U.S. Advanced Computing Infrastructures, Investment Advisor here in Illinois, Series 65. Our videos are not investment advice, our tweets are not investment advice. You should do your own research before you invest. And we're sharing today Skillz Incorporated. It's a company that just recently moved out of Las Vegas. Market valuation about $125 million. We love Skillz, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about some of the due diligence we did on the games. We're going to talk about stock. And before we start off, yesterday I think we shocked the internet. We sold all of our positions on Skillz. Right now, I'm speaking to you. I have no skills. I will share with you what our positions are. We own a tiny bit of Fortress Biotech. That's not a stock I recommend to everybody. It's very risky. We've also sold calls against it. Because I figure if it goes up over 250, we made so much money that we're good to share the wealth with whoever bought the calls. We got 10 cents for them. So not a big deal. And I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the other things that affected our decision to sell. So this is Skillz. This is BookViewer. By the way, thank you, NASDAQ. We pay for this, but totally worth it. And what that does is it shows us the book, the level 2 book, at all times. And so, again, we have no position in Skillz right now. We are completely clean. We are going to do a few things while we talk. This may be a bit of a rambler, so I'm sorry, but if you're online with me right now, send me a message. Shoot me a chat, and I will respond. So we're going to do a write-up, and at the end we'll review. So all the really important things, right? Like number one, we do not have a position in Skillz or any options related to Skillz. So just so you know, we're clean, right? Hands are clean right now. Love it. The second thing I'm going to talk about is Chicago Quantum Net Score. We did the run, and something really kind of funky happened yesterday. And so I feel the need to talk to you about it. And so I will. And I'll show you how Skillz is and where it runs in and all that good stuff. So we got that. And I'm going to do some charts. I'm going to talk through the third quarter results. And at the end of the day, I love Skillz, the company, and I think it's going to go to the moon. I think the company is going to do great. I think the stock is a good buy. I think everything is good. So I'm going to talk about why we feel that way. And one of my friends asked me on Twitter, so why did you sell Skillz yesterday? I'm going to talk about that too. So, all right, let's get started with a little context. So Skillz, right now, pre-market is trading at $5.90. 2 shares traded according to NASDAQ. Now, I know that that's not the case. In fact, you can look at another NASDAQ free website page, which we do, which is the NASDAQ real-time trades, NASDAQ.com, market activity, stocks, Skillz. I got a lot of things that I track. And so this says 162 shares traded. It's up to $5.99. So who knows? Maybe somebody's watching the video, right? So stock at $5.99. It's up about 20 cents since we started the video. Just know that that's not why we're doing the video, not to pump it up or drive it down. But I love that you can track all these trades. So we use this information to see what trades are made and to see how the stock's moving. So you can see most of the trades are 1 share, 15 shares. It's not a lot, not material, right? There's probably 100 share lot got traded. So it's not moving. $5.99. So let's take a look. So we look at stock twits. What does stock twits say? Well, it says it's extremely bullish sentiment and the message volume is high. So I love TJ 12,000 because they have all the best memes. Who knows whether it's going up or down? I love this one. Don't you put that evil on me. Someone's got some hot dogs in the face. But every once in a while, you see something good, right? You see some good info. And so I think that's helpful. So what I would say about Skillz is you do have a lot of excitement on StockTwits. It's a good place to look. It's a good place to follow, right? Where else do you have commentary? Well, you have commentary in Yahoo Finance. We are active on Yahoo Finance. So I'm Jeffrey. You see my face. Looks just like me. And what I posted yesterday is the stock is a fourth best out of almost 2,000 in the Chicago Quantum Net Score. For individual long stocks, I am long after the model identified it as a number 10 top stock, and I did the due diligence. And then 18 hours ago, I posted within about 15 minutes of the trade that I exited my position today. I want you guys to know I'm not in this to pump it, right? I'm not in it to break compliance. I love this. So, we sold our position. So the first question is, Jeffrey, how does Skillz rank in the Chicago Quantum Net Score? Well, here was the run we did yesterday. And so yesterday, Open Door was number 1. Affirm Holdings was number 2. PAC-W, which is Pacific West Bancorp, was number 3. And there's Skillz, which I bolded. The model doesn't bold it. Number 4. Fourth best stock in the entire run. Jeffrey, how many stocks are there in your run? Let's scroll to the bottom. 2974, so there's 2,973 stocks. So, Jeffrey, what's point number 2? Is that Chicago... Am I ever going to get to the point? That's really the question of this video. I don't know that I am. It scored number 4 out of 2,973 stocks in the long run for individual stocks. So it's good. It's a good outcome. So the S&P 500, which should be the best individual stock to buy because it's like the 500 stocks, right? Where does that one show up? There it is. That one's number 69. So I got to tell you, it's looking pretty attractive. Skillz gets a great Chicago Quantum Net Score run. And that's very exciting for us. We love that. You know, we charge a lot of money for this run. It costs us a lot of money to run it, to maintain the software to run it. It's important, but that's not why you buy a stock. You buy a stock because you looked at some of the fundamental analysis, right? Like, so Jeffrey, fundamentally, is this a good stock or is this a piece of garbage? Like, where are you in this thing? So we're going to go over to Edgar, which is the Securities and Exchange Commission, where people post all the filings. And we're going to take a look at the 10Q quarterly report. Now, I don't know about you, but I live in these 10Qs. So there's 18 million shares of stock. Class A. Class B have all the voting rights. They have like 20-1 voting rights. They're all owned by the CEO, AP, Andrew Paradise. And he's got 3.4 million shares. So what we can trade is 18 million. There's another 3 million out there. So that's 21.5 million shares. Oh yeah, we do our spreadsheets as well. Fundamental analysis requires us to do spreadsheets. The Securities and Exchange Commission doesn't require it, but I do. I'm not investing my money without a solid spreadsheet. I got debt, I got equity, I got cash flows. By the way, they're in Vegas, baby. They're in Vegas. I love Vegas. I'm wearing a red shirt to honor their move to Vegas. And they spent $11.5 million on a building in one part of the 10Q. And then no, it's actually $12.1 million. So they bought the building, they moved in, they're moving their people in. I think it's great. Stock buyback. As of November 1st, they bought back 1 million shares. 1.156693 shares of the common stock at an average price of $5.21. They have $58 million left of their buyback authorization. Now, I don't know if they're going to do it or not. But wow, I love it. So they already bought back stock. Now, here's the challenge with this company. If I can just be real with you for a minute. I know you're not watching my show because you want to hear me chit-chat about my shirt. You want to hear about the stock, right? So cash flow used in operations, they burned almost $60 million last quarter in No, they didn't. That can't be right. That's a stupid number. That's not right. All right. Let's get to the financials. We'll talk about profits in a minute. Let's talk about cash. No, it's 9 months. So for the 9 months ending September 30, this company burned $59.4 million worth of cash. First off, who does that? Who burns cash? Like, I'm going to take my wallet out. I'm going to get some money. And I'm going to get my lighter. And I'm just going to set it on fire. That's what I'm going to do. Look, I got $2 in my wallet. A couple of receipts. That's great. I'm rich. I'm rich beyond all of my dreams of avarice. I have $2. And I'm going to light them on fire. Because I'm Skillz. I'm going to burn it up, man. Burn it. Let's do it. $60 million. Now, the funny part is they lost $86 million, but they actually made some money back on extinguishing their debt. Now, that was actually really helpful because they bought back about half their debt. Their debt now is $123.5 million, and that really reduced their interest costs. We love that. That decision to pay down debt, great decision. Now, from an investing perspective, they raised $163 million. Most of that was by selling marketable securities. And then from a financing perspective, they used a lot of that money where they sold the marketable securities and they paid down the debt. Great. So they have $333 million in cash equivalents, and restricted cash at the end of the period. So these guys are cash rich. Love it. Love it. Rolling in the cash, right? But how long does it last? Let's take a look at revenues. Skillz revenues, 3 months, ending September. So revenue dropped from $59 million to $36.5 million. Now, I hate to see that. Revenue drops, right? Now, if we look at it over the 9 months, it looks like it's actually kind of settled down a bit. Simmer down, Jeffrey. Simmer down. $223 million down to $121 million. Costs have also come down. So revenue's down a little less than half. Costs are down almost 60%. So they're really driving down their cost structure, which we think is helpful. Their loss is smaller. So they lost $1.57 for the 3 months. Again, how long are you going to make it when you're losing that kind of cash, right? Losing money hand over fist. Let's take a look at the balance sheet. By the way, so far it's a pretty sad story. I hope I'm not depressing you people out there. Current assets, $330 million, plus some stuff, so you're at $350. Non-current assets we don't really pay attention to very much. They got $13.8 in property, plant, and equipment. I would think that building they bought would be a good part of that, and it is. It was $3 million up to $13.8. So they bought a building. Yay! Vegas. Go Vegas. By the way, what happens in Vegas doesn't always stay in Vegas. Just remember, be careful, people. Liabilities. Not a lot of liabilities. They got $350 million in current assets. They got $65 million in current liabilities. This is not a bankruptcy risk. This is not a liquidity crunch. This is a company with plenty of money. Bought the building. And now they're rocking and rolling. Okay, I love that story. It's a good story for me. I want to hear more about this story. Tell me. Jeffrey, tell me what's going on here. So now we talked about the long-term debt, non-current, at $123 million. They got some lease liabilities. It's fine. So they do have shareholders' equity, $227 million. If we look at the total market cap of the stock, it comes in at about 123.5 million. So you're buying the stock with a significant cushion. They could blow money for another 3 or 4 quarters and be okay in terms of like having more book value. And just to show you, it's important for me. Here we go. This is important. So the other thing that we could talk about is you're number 3. They lose money and they burn cash. So that's not helpful. Number 4, they have a lot of cash. They can last a long time. That's great. Number 5, the largest 2 clients or customers are games developers. And they're called Tether and Big Run. They make up 45% of the revenue. So that's important, right? What happens with Tether and Big Run happens to the whole company. So we're going to talk a little bit about the due diligence we did on the stock and on the games and go into it. Now, I will say this. They did change their revenue model, and they have some nice charts and stats here, which I'm going to make a copy of. And we're going to talk about some of that. But that's not the most important thing. So the most important thing is in the earnings call, they talked about Tether and Big Run introducing new games, first time in a while, because they had kind of moved on, and working on new games. So that's good news. That's very good news. I just want to share that with you. So in terms of due diligence, I think this is important. This is my Twitter. I'm not trying to cross promote and get you all to jump all over my Twitter page because honestly, I love my Twitter page, but most people not so excited. But I actually wrote something about it was like Tether. Yes, I'm gonna find it. Big Run, maybe. Big Run Studios. Yeah, so where are my posts to Tether and Big Run Studios? There it is. It's very important. And again, all my work here is public, which is always very interesting. So Skillz is still it's at $6 now. Ooh, $5.90, according to NASDAQ. Looks like it's jumping up. Jumping up, 817 pre-market. Lots of excitement. I don't know that I'm that exciting today. So this is me in my Puerto Rico shirt with my Jimmy hat. It's the Big Run Studios, Tether Studios, and Skillz. So the 2 biggest clients and Skillz itself. Can you guys check that your games support Android 13? Now, my phone is an Edge 2022. It runs the latest version, Android 13. And I went on Google Play and I tried to install and download one of their most popular games. I like Solitaire, so I tried to install Solitaire so I could make money by competing fairly against other human beings. Because competition unleashes the best in all of us. Well, guess what? I can't download the game. Google Play says no thank you, that the game doesn't support Android 13. Well, that's not very helpful, is it? Because I'm just the kind of guy with some extra cash. I got $2 in my hand. I want to play again. I want to play solitaire, and I want to win $10, right? But I can't. And I'm just wondering how many other people, how many tens of thousands of people, are trying to play their games and can't play them. And so what that tells me is, it's a gaming company, and it's not. I mean, so I used to work for IBM. I used to work for Hewlett Packard, Siemens, and we would get clients to be so professional with their IT systems. I worked for McKinsey, for Christ's sake. We were very professional, and so you didn't have applications that you couldn't use. Of course you could use your applications. Well, it's a gaming company, so, oh yeah, we don't support Android 13 for our most popular, largest grossing game. Well, that doesn't make any sense. What are you going to say? All my best players are on Apple products. You know, Jeff, if you want to be a gamer, you got to have an Apple. No, thank you. Don't give me all that bullshit. So, the issue that Big Run Studios, Tether Studios, and Skillz is having is a great use case for Digital Turbine's business. Single tap. So I copied Digital Turbine, and I thought maybe behind the scenes they could talk to each other. Well, I want to win. I want to compete. Nobody cares. That's the end of the day, right? You're buying a gaming company that no one's really paying attention to. And even the guys in the IT department, you would think that the Skillz guys would be... And by the way, I reached out to investor relations of Skillz because at one point I owned under 1% of the stock, but it was a pretty large position. And I called him on the phone and I said, you got to tell someone that I can't even install the game to check it out. He's like, of course, Jeff, I'll find the right guy in the IT department. It's going to be great. But I don't know. Do they support Android 13? Still don't know. So that's a problem, right? Because all the gaming metrics, all the download metrics, all of that, I'm not sure how much I buy in when I can't even install the game to play it. It's like I buy Home Depot stock, but when I go to the Home Depot store, they don't let me in to buy something. I'm not there. I'm not liking that. That's not a good story for me. So I got that issue. So let's take a look at the other things for the third quarter results. This is actually the earnings release that they sent out. So revenue was $36 million, gross profit $32 million. So that's $33 million. That's great. Gross profit of like 90%. They did lose $33 million. They have 168,000 paying customers on average every month. And the average revenue is $72.30 per customer. So that must be a lot of U.S. customers. Because I'm guessing in China and India, they don't have as much cash. Now, if I can get these games into China and India, if I can get these games in the most populous two nations in the world, it'd be great. But for right now, I'm at $72.30. This is most likely a U.S. crowd. Cash equivalents, marketable securities of $33.9 million, $340 million. We talked about that. This is a cash-rich company. Total outstanding debt of $130 million. Now let's be honest. They are probably going to buy more. They have an authorization to buy another. I want to say it's like 125 million. No, it isn't. I think it was 65 million in debt at market price. And I did a little homework. I think their market price is something like 80% to 85% of the payoff, of the principal. So I'm going to make 20% if I want to. So I could generate $13 million in accounting profit by buying back that debt. That's great. Good job, guys. But that doesn't give me the best story that I need, right? The second thing they talked about is they continue to make progress on the initiatives to improve the business. And that's true, right? So the things that they're working on, let's test my memory here. One is new features. They have things like a daily challenge. So we play in our home a Niantic game, Capcom. I'm a monster hunter. And I'm going to show you, because I'm very proud of my monster hunting, the level that I'm at. Hang on. I got to find it. It's a screen print. I am very proud of my monster hunter status. 66. Do you guys see it? Hopefully you do. 66. That's pretty cool in the game. If I can get to Monster Hunter 66, you know I love to play. And I spend money on this game. I love to spend money on Skillz. Should I own almost 1% of the company? You would think that I could play the game, but no. So, but I like daily challenges. I get up every morning and I look at them. The second thing they're doing is they're upskilling their organization. The move to Vegas helps. It's not quite so California. The third thing they're doing is they're improving their marketing effectiveness. They're basically marketing to those players that spend the most money. It's great. They're looking to have a 6-month payback for new players. I love the new transparency. They're making it easier for the largest games, for the largest gaming developers to make a business. So before it used to be a percent of profit, now it's percent of revenue. Payout is percent of, basically it's percent of the antes or entry fees for games. And it grows with the success of the game. So a successful game will pay out more. I think that's great. Good job, guys. You're doing it. And one of the things that you said on the earnings call is that you have some new games. By the way, we noticed that the games have more ratings. I don't know who does the ratings, but that's great to see, right? So I love that. What else did I want to talk about? Now, when you buy this stock, that's me. I'm a Bears hat. I feel pretty good about things. We talked about the stock. Let's close that. Market opens in 4 minutes. Where's some of the other stuff I'd pulled up for these guys? We're at $5.95 a share now, pre-market. Oh, yeah. So if you believe that stocks eventually, reach the highs they used to have, then you've got a lot of money to make on this stock. So this is a company stock that used to be a lot of money. And so even recently, if you look, this stock traded, this was a recent technical analysis I did when the stock was around $6 where it's at now. And I had said, if the stock can stay above $5.60, which is a little support level I've got, support and resistance level I've got, it's only over the past month or so. So it's not so strong, but it's good enough. Then the next one is $7.50, and if it could bounce through $7.50, it hits $9. And if it goes up over $9, it can easily hit $12. So here's a stock that could double from $6 to $12. On the other hand, it also could drop to $4.50. So you're looking at $4.50, $5.60, $9, $12, and on and on. So, all right, that's a good story for us. I like that story, by the way. Tells me there's money to be made. But now, if I take a quick look at where the stock was a year ago, Jeffrey, where was the stock a year ago? The stock a year ago was $23. The stock 2 years ago was $220. So the stock went from $220 to $20 to $6. That's rough, by the way. That's a rough story. It's actually a very rough story. It gives me the shivers, right? So what you're really betting on with this company is you're betting on a bounce off the bottom. And if we look, the last time we made a video, the stock was at $3.99. It didn't even close there. That was around this time frame, October. And so we bought it on the video at $3.99, $3.96, I think. And we've written it up. We sold yesterday for about $5.86. So the question is it going to continue to go higher, or are we going to see another dip? I don't know. I can't predict the future. But I will say this. If you believe that the trend is your friend, then you've got to overcome a significant downward spiral. And then you have to believe that this recovery is going to take the stock to like $7 by December 1st. Do you believe that? People, do you believe that? $6.86, up a buck by December 1st? Because if you do, you jump into stock. So that's what we bet on. We bet on a recovery. We bet on a reversal. We liked it. We thought it was great. We bought the stock. We sold the stock. We made the money. It was helpful. It's a good story. Now, if you look, the candles are pretty wide. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Pretty wide candles means the stock moves up and down a fair bit. Oh, do I see any questions in the chat? Taking a look, maybe. Questions or topics? Question mark? Give me something. So what that means is if you like to sit around and watch the stock, you're going to get whiplash up and down and up and down, and I can't even believe how much the stock moves, right? And that's fine because there's a trend, an upward trend. So what does it mean, Jeffrey? Oh, let's go back to a few more things. So just so you know, I'm a Bloomberg subscriber. I love Bloomberg. I think it's terrific. I think you should subscribe too. It is a little expensive, but you get a lot of good info. By the way, my coffee mug, I must be naughty today. When I drink with my right hand, I'm nice. When I drink with my left hand, I'm naughty. Feel naughty today. So what does it mean? So if we look at gross marketplace volume, total money in and out, you can see they're still trying to recover here. 241 million down from 360 million. Paying monthly average users down by half. Monthly average users is down about 40%. I mean, excuse me. I mean, there's a lot of good news here at the end of the day, but it's tough to get through the economics. I will say this, though. The stock is a top 4 pick of the Chicago Quantum Net Score. Top 4 pick. And it has consistently been in the top 10. So what that means is the expected return if you bought and hold the stock is 29%. That is a tremendous return, given the average market return is like 13% in our model. So you're doing great. 13%, you can make 29%. That's your expected return. Now, the average volume, this is last night. Yesterday was a big day. Now, I sold my entire position, so you would think the volume would be up. By the way, I also bought and sold about 600 options. But yet the volume is only 91% of last year's volume. We're down 48% from last year's average close price. Variance is high for this stock now. But what makes this stock a real screamer is it's a low market cap, $123 million. It's a very low market cap. You really do well with this one. And the beta is 3.71. So what does that mean? Jeffrey, what is beta and what does a beta of 3.71 mean? Oh, I don't know. Maybe you should go to my website and I got a whole page on beta. I'd like you to, because this is actually my most popular page on the website. It talks about negative beta. But what does beta mean? So beta, I'm going to explain it because a lot of the guys out there may not know what beta means. Beta is the degree that a stock moves with the stock market. A beta is a degree of correlation and the systematic risk of a stock. It is mathematically the covariance of stock with the index divided by the variance of the index. And so how many multiples of the variance of the index do you get as a covariance? And so when people ask me, so what does this mean? So your highest beta stock should be the one that's the most sensitive to economic affairs. And that would be like a firm. A firm holdings charges like 36% interest on buy now, pay later purchases. But you know what? If people are willing to afford 36% interest to buy that latest Reese's peanut butter cup on Amazon, they must be flush with money. They're spending money hand over fist. They can't get enough. They're going to borrow the money at 36% interest. So that's high beta. Now, on the other hand, a low beta, hang on. The low beta is the guy who makes the coffee. Because you know what? I'm going to drink coffee whether or not I'm rich. I get this at Dollar Tree for $1.25. What is that? 6 ounces of coffee for $1.25. This is like a week's worth of coffee for $1.25. I love that. And here's the thing. This is not sensitive to the stock market. This is not sensitive to jobs. Everyone can afford $1.25. Everyone can have Puerto Rico's best coffee. Cafe Moro. Enjoy Puerto Rico's finest coffee. By the way, we were not paid to make that. And we just love the coffee. I drink it every day. I love that coffee. Oh my God. So they would have a low beta. You know what really is a low beta? Shy. S-H-Y. Jeff, what the hell is S-H-Y, and why are you talking about bond funds? Who are you? I'll tell you who I am. The guy is going to make a lot of money in the stock market someday. Probably not today. Probably not next week. But someday, I'm going to be rolling in the dough. I'm going to buy a boat with all the money I got. Someday. So the iShares 1 to 3 year Treasury bond ETF has an almost zero beta. It's positive, but only slightly. And what is it? It is 80% or more underlying U.S. Treasury securities. But they're short-term securities. They're 1 to 3 years. They're equal to 1 year and less than 3 years. So treasuries, 1 to 3 year, have almost a zero correlation to the stock market. So low beta is 1 to 3 year treasuries. High beta, Affirm Holdings. Low beta, Cafe Moro. Love the coffee. $1.25 for 6 ounces. I drink it all week. I love it. And you know the coffee filters? $1.25. I get like 100 of them or 300 of them. I can't take it anymore. How good of a deal it is. You should drink Cafe Moro. I'm telling you, it's good stuff. All right. So where are we at here? So it's a low market cap. Scores in the top 4 of the Chicago Quantum Net Score. And it has a high beta and a high, what I'll call, average daily trading range. So you can bank on the daily fluctuations and ride the trend, the short-term 2-month trend of a reversal off the $4 low. Now again, just so that you guys can be a little careful, the stock used to be $900 a share. Okay? 900. It's not 900 anymore. It's $6. And so you gotta know. You gotta know what you're buying here, right? It's a $200 stock. It went to 900. 874. And it's been rolling from 80 to 30 to 20 to 10 down to $4.20. Now it's been making a nice little recovery, and I like it. So I like the company. I like the ideas. If you read the conversations, though, you're not getting a lot of insight. It'll go bankrupt. Well, it will if they can't figure it out how to make money. Everyone got fooled. Maybe in 10 years it'll get back to my cost basis. Pre-market all over the board. Well, yeah, because pre-market, how many shares traded? Yeah, like 200 shares. So you can't rely on pre-market for this stock. It just doesn't move. It's okay. Got that. So don't trust the pre-market. It does have a healthy options set of options. So you can see here the calls. Well, it looks like there's no bid ask on the calls, which is interesting. That's probably not, there it is. They're just not trading. They're not trading. It's hard. Today's the last day. So a lot of calls, a lot of puts, a lot of things moving. Let's take a look at the stock market today. Oh, it's down. It's down, it's down. That is not helpful for a stock like Skillz. Now I want to tell you why I sold the stock yesterday. Okay, I think it's important for everyone. I think it is. We're gonna leave FinViz. Actually, I'm gonna shut it down for now. We're gonna shut down FINRA. And we're gonna shut down the page. We'll keep up Skillz. It's at 586. It's healthy. It's healthy right now. Shut a lot of things down. And I want to show you, so I put together a list of the top 20 stocks. By the way, our performance today, Jeffrey Cohen's personal holdings, are up 15% today. While I made this video, I've made $900. I want you to know it feels good. It feels good today. I'm up 14.37%, 850. And I got to tell you, I thank every one of you for watching. I do. I love you people. I do. I love every one of you. I do. I can't even take it. But let me tell you what happened yesterday. So I was watching the stocks yesterday, and these are the top 20 plus Fortress Biotech, which is up 18 cents. I want to thank everyone for buying Fortress Biotech. I think it's a great stock. And every single stock was down yesterday. And the problem is that they were down yesterday a lot. They were down a lot. I made it my pinned tweet because I didn't even trade on it. I told everybody about it first. So I said, I'm feeling good today, right? But something non-random is happening. And this is important because I run the model. Oh, hey, Jeff, got the model, right? I see all the variances. I see the stocks that are happening. I see the expected return to the market. I see the power of our model. Does it have descriptive power? I see the top stocks. Skillz, number 4. Loving it, right? And then I get all this other data, which I use a lot of. And for our clients, they use the data too. But what the model showed was 100%, 20 out of 20 of the best stocks picked by the Chicago Quantum Net Score were down today. The average loss was 4.5%. The median loss was 4%. Every stock was down, and every stock was down a lot, and some of the stocks were really down. And so my wife, she's good at this stuff. She says, Jeff, so did you give out the list of the stocks yesterday? I said, no. I haven't published a list of the 20 stocks in probably a month. She's like, well, okay, so that's not it. So what happened? Why are people betting against the Chicago Quantum Net Score stocks? And I'm like, well, I don't know. They don't even know which stocks they are. Now, they could have gotten my research paper from 2020 and built models, and yeah, maybe it's such a helpful model that, But truthfully, I don't know. All I know is the entire 20 out of 20 were down yesterday. So the Russell 2000 was down 1.5%. High beta stocks are not doing well today. Is this the start of a trend? So when I see 20 out of 20, I get very nervous. So now let's look today. Where are we today? Best 20 stocks of the model. Fortress Biotech is not, it doesn't trade right, so it doesn't get picked in the model. It doesn't pass data validation for liquidity. Okay, so 8 stocks are up, 1 stock is unchanged. Looks like 11 stocks are down. That's about what I would expect, right? 11 down, 9 up, 1 unchanged. That's great. If I see every single stock dropping, I'm nervous. I don't know what the market's doing. So I'm looking. I didn't like that. Now, if I look at Skillz today, it's up almost 2%. Jeff, you lost money. You sold yesterday. You shouldn't have done that. But realistically, I'm not responsible for everyone's bullshit. So you want to tell me that that I gave up 2%? Bulls make money, bears make money, pigs get slaughtered. We're going to leave it sit today. I was really uncomfortable with the Chicago Quantum Net Score collapsing like it did. And I'm nervous about that because the same factors that affect all those stocks affect Skillz. And so I posted, I made it my pinned tweet, I told everyone about it. I'm never getting a lot of engagements on stuff like this. No one quoted it. I got 1 like. But that's where we're at. So if you're out there, my friend, who asked the question, that's why I sold. I sold because when something non-random happens in the market, it gets me very, very nervous. I know the markets aren't random, but I don't like it when they're really that crazy. So let's take a look. Skillz is at 587. Looks like the bid's 585. The ask is 589. Now this is level 2 book. So there's probably a 586 and a 588 right in the middle there. All right, I'm starting to wrap up here. Now, there was some due diligence I was going to share with you on some of the games, and maybe I will. It's helpful. It's helpful. Let's do that. So you type Skillz, games.skillz.com, and you see there's a new NFL game. This is an official NFL game. Quarterback shootout. And so I think you throw passes to people, like with your finger. You throw passes. And then they have Strike by Bolero, which is pretty cool. You're going to see Strike by Bolero has 10,000, almost 10,500 ratings. Many, many, many more reviews on Apple than Android. And so the first thing I notice is the games we review are much more, I would say, popular relative to ratings received on Apple iOS versus Android. And my question to the players out there is, can you even install the games on Android? Do they work? Or are these really just Apple-only games? I don't know. I think it's important. Okay, so Cubby Cash, Dash for the Cash, 100 ratings. That's not a lot. Crazy Fork, 98 ratings. Sweeper Cube, 277 ratings. Blackout Slots, slot machines, 143 ratings. Rummy Cash, 49 ratings. Rummy Royal, 174 ratings. Gin Rummy Gold, 1,297 ratings. Yahtzee, almost 1,000 ratings. But you can see here, 800 on Apple, 100 on Android. Now the game I wanted to play was called Solitaire Cube, Classic Klondike. So that's got 100,000 ratings. But if you look, it's 92 and 7. And the reason it's 92 and 7 is because I can't install it, right? So that's very frustrating. So, 100,000. So let's just take a look here at Google Play Store, Android apps on Google Play, and let's search for Monster Hunter Now. That's the game that I play. It's got 1 million plus downloads. I actually got an award. It was 10 million downloads. It's got 202,000 reviews. This game has only been out less than a month, and it's got 10 million downloads and 202,000 reviews. Solitaire Cube has 100,000 reviews and is their top performing game. So they got some skills, no pun intended. But Blackout Bingo is the other one. It's a very, very good game of theirs. Blackout Bingo, 100,000 ratings. So those are pretty happening games, right? That's pretty cool. And but again, 90,000 on Apple, 10,000 on Android, right? So there's a choice on where they do it. So one of the other things that's important. So we're gonna see if we can find the Skillz transcript. Seeking Alpha normally has them, but right here. So there was an important point made. So it's funny, this is why I'm not in the stock right now, because I can make a video for you. I love it. And I'm just talking about what I think and what I see about the company. We can talk about the stock buyback. They are doing stock buybacks. I think it's great. But that's not it. So, new features. 2 to 3 new features in Q4. Up-leveling the organization. They got a couple of guys. It's good. People. I don't know if they're men or women, to be honest. Third pillar, go-to-market. They're not spending a lot of money, and when they do, they seem to be spending it wisely. I love that. Spend less. Get your core economics, your unit economics improved, and then scale later. Revenue share agreement with the developers. Their biggest developers, Big Run Studios and Tether Studios, released new content for the first time in several quarters and are re-engaged in growing the platform. That's great, because those are your two companies that bring you 45% of your revenue. Drive it. And by the way, tell them that Android should work on their platform. So this is important. So there is a topic of importance. You can read this. You should read it. So there are companies that use computer bots to compete against human players, and they never lose. I mean, sometimes they lose to sucker you in. Oh, I paid out a quarter, I paid out 50 cents, I paid out $1. Hey, come on, bet me $20, and then they take all your money. And so Skillz is suing Ava Games, which uses bots, and it's going after others as well. It wants to make sure it's fair. So again, I want to try to explain what that looks like. So you're playing a game. Let's say you're playing a maze, right? You have to solve a maze, and you solve it, and the opponent solves it, and whoever solves it faster wins the money. So, and I'll explain the hustle that I just talked about, because that's what they talk about. It's an old hustle. So I used to shoot pool when I was like 22 years old. It's been a long time since I was 22 years old. But I got to tell you, I love to shoot pool. And after a while, the people would come over to the table, right? Now, every once in a while, right, someone would come over and we'd make friends. But usually it was somebody that wanted to take my money. So what they would do is they'd say, oh, let's play. Let's play for free. Let's just play. I'll put 4 quarters up, we'll play. And, wow, it sure looks like I'm better than them. And they miss a few shots. Maybe they act a little drunk. I love it. And then they're like, I like to bet. Let's make it a little more interesting. Let's bet a beer. You drink the beer, get a little sloppy, right? And maybe I win that game. Then they're like, you know what? I'm feeling bold. Let's put $20 on the game. And all of a sudden they stand up a little straighter. They aim a little better. Their hands don't shake anymore. And they just win. They just win by like 1 ball. Jeff, double or nothing. I'm so sorry. I can't believe I won. Let's make this one $40. I'll let you win your money back, Jeff. Next thing you know, I'm down $60, but they bought me a beer. They're smiling because they're actually really good at shooting pool, and I'm kind of stink. I'm using a pool hall cue. It's bent, whatever. And then I think later that night, I think I played against a hustle. And so what happens now in these games is, so Skillz wants to be honest. They need to be honest, fair competition, right? As long as there's enough people playing, you get a mix of skills, you can do very well. That's the key with these games, though, is you need enough people playing that there are people of different skill levels. So that's important. That's why they need to make sure Android works. They need to make sure the games work. So with a bot, the bot is going to play out any number of those strategies. Maybe lose the first game and then win the next one. Maybe just always beat you. See, a bot can always win. Bot knows the answer. Bot knows how to do it, right? And so you don't want that. So that's something Skillz is working on, which I think is great. Now, getting back to, let's look at the stock buyback. Now, they don't talk about their stock buybacks, but just know that they did buy back stock. We know exactly when they bought back the stock, and we can see it in the stock price. I think it's great. I appreciate that they're buying back the stock, but for me, that's not a reason to buy the company. That's just a reason to chit-chat about, oh, yeah, at least there's a floor underneath the stock. You probably won't lose it all. So the stock isn't moving. It's at $5.80, which also makes me think, I wonder if my trading action was enough to move the stock, because I was buying and selling pretty aggressively throughout last couple weeks. Like I said yesterday, I traded hundreds of options. And you can see the stock, it's interesting. So you get a little bit of a reversal there. So yesterday it dropped on a slightly lower volume. So I'm not a technical analyst. I got to tell you, I'm really bad at that. But I will say this. The stock rode higher from so the earnings happened on November 8th, and the stock dropped before earnings. So I bought my last shares right there at 580. Let me draw something. We'll doodle it. So I had bought a lot of stock here at $4. I bought here. I bought a bunch here. Really convinced. And then I almost doubled my position right before earnings. Right here, I bought 10,000 shares. I bought a big slug of stock right there. Because honestly, I thought they were going to surprise into earnings. Somebody had released this on StockTwits. Maybe they were lying. Delta 69 posted this illegally on StockTwits. Skillz Inc. 3Q observed sales fall 38%, but when you read the sales, they said their revenue estimate for the quarter is $40.3 million. $40.3 million. Okay? This is just after the close. We look at revenue for the quarter, and it was 36.4. So Delta 69 posts on StockTwits that he thinks that the revenue is going to be $4 million or 13% higher than it actually was. So I was trading on what I thought was interesting information that Bloomberg said that Skillz was going to have 13% more revenue than it did. And that revenue boost would have been a 90% profit margin. So $4 million, that's like an extra $3.5 million in profit. Now my net loss is only $30 million. Gross profit of $35 million. I'm feeling pretty attractive, right? So I bought. I remember I was sitting in my office, not at home, but in my office. And, yeah. So guess what happened? The stock drops. Stock drops under $5. Now at this point, I don't have any more money to put in the stock. It's reached all my risk mitigation limits. Now I don't sell it, but you can see right here, the stock drops on increasing volume, and that's never good for a stock. You don't want the days when it drops to be the days with the most volume. And that's pretty much what you're seeing, right? Now, it did rise off the low, $4 low, because let's be honest, I made the video, I'm buying up the stock. It's a steal at $4, right? Jump in. And then this week, I love it. This week, rising volume, which we saw, and the stock went from $5 to over $6. The stock went up 30% at one point on rising volume. So I'm happy. So I sold. No, I didn't catch the top. I didn't sell at $6.50. I sold at $5.86, right? So I gave back 10%. I gave back a lot of money. I gave back 50, 80 cents a share. But, you know, I can't be greedy. I can't call the top. Can't call the bottom, right? I just got lucky. So where are we at now? We're at lower volume fall, and then whatever we're at today. And I don't know. So what I can say, though, is it's not a great story. It's not a powerful story. So let's take a look at the 15-minute chart and see how we're doing today. And you can see we've had we're down today. Okay. Let's look at the 5-minute chart. The 1-minute chart. We're pretty much weak all in all here. So maybe it was a good day to sit it out. Take a break. We had a good run. We ran 30%. Now we're going to take a little break. So Thank you. Thank you, Anak. I appreciate that. That's really terrific. Any questions about Skillz? Anything? I'd love to answer. I'd love to talk to you. So, we talked about earnings. We talked about why I bought the stock, the kind of insider information I thought I had. We talked about the fact that the stock went up a lot. And we're talking about now aren't a lot of real-time trades. Look at that. So, by the way, this is there's a couple important things here. This is the level 2 book, according to NASDAQ Book Viewer. Again, we pay for this data. We like the data. It's good data. And if I just look at it and I sort by... No, let's do this. Let's show who the MPIDs are so I can tell you which firm is out there buying and selling. And I'll tell you that ETMM is putting in guardrails at 571 and 602. ETMM is a supplemental liquidity provider. They're paid by the market in order to have to just make a market to make sure that you can trade your stocks in and out. So 571 and 602 is the guardrails. Now, interestingly enough, the stock just popped. 589. Let's see what happened. So I like to do that, right? So let's look. And you can see it's 300 shares. Pop the stock up almost 10 cents. It's fine. I'm not missing anything here. The stock is just a low volume stock. And I love to see it, right? Hey, let's get up there. It's a low volume play right now. So how about the Chicago Quantum Net Score stocks? How are they doing? Not bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 up, 10 down. So that's normal. Chicago Quantum Net Score, 50% higher, 50% lower. So today it's just kind of random, which is what we expect. We have one position right now, which is Fortress Biotech, a whopping $7,000 invested, and we are up almost $1,000. Love it, people. So, what else is important for you guys to look at? So, I'm going to share a little inside baseball with you. And it's not so inside baseball because I actually put it on my website. But for those who really want to get involved with our website, let's take a look. I call it the top stock market drivers. I updated it yesterday. The number one driver of stock markets. Oh. Do you think that this macroeconomic environment lift the stock higher? Fed not raising interest rates and the Skillz is showing improvement in their financials. I don't think this stock is affected at all by macroeconomics. I think this stock is a trading stock right now. And so I think you're betting on the specific performance of Skillz. I do not think this is a macroeconomic play. On the other hand, I do think that the economy is strong enough to support games of skill. Whether it's casinos, whether it's lotteries, whether it's Skillz. I think the esports business model works, and I think our macroeconomic model and time right now is good for the stock. So yeah, thumbs up, and we'll see what happens. I love it. You can watch in real time as the stock skyrockets higher. Look at that. Real time. So, what else we got? So, what I would say is overall for the market, stock price volatility, both actual historic and market priced, is lower. And when volatility is lower, expected returns can be lower, which means prices can be higher. So that's bullish. Stock price momentum we might be at a peak. The stock market has recovered all of its losses, and you're at a $51.7 trillion stock market cap, apples to apples. High yield corporate bonds are up in an uptrend. Real estate values are up in an uptrend. This is all good. It's all good for stocks, things like this. Metals pricing. It's neutral. It's choppy, right? Usually that's like a secondary economic indicator. Energy prices are down and down hard. I think that's bearish for stocks. Even though it's good for inflation, it's bad for energy. It's bad for economics. The US dollar is flat and choppy. That's bullish. It's kind of neutral. Gold price, gold is flat and choppy, which is neutral. So the reason that I said the dollar value at 104.29, although it's flat, it's bullish because the dollar was 106 not very long ago. So the U.S. Treasuries, real interest rates, and mortgage-backed securities, up, up, up. Bonds are up, up, up. It means yields are down, 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 and that's bullish for stocks. The U.S. federal government cash intake, actually, the U.S. government has been pumping liquidity back into the economy. You know, we talk about inflation and all that, and yet they're pumping money back into the economy. $84 billion was pumped back into the economy in the last 2 weeks. That's great. Bitcoin, 36,150. Oh, yeah. Bitcoin's down, but it's in a huge uptrend. I'm not sure what that does. So, I shared with you a lot of info. You can click on more information on drivers. Here's what I would ask you to do. I would ask you to go look at our advisory services. You can get a free quote. You can get some free consultation. It's great. I'm glad to help you. Or you could buy a run. $750 will help you find the needle in the haystack. The stocks that will go up, that will scream higher when the market goes up. At the same time, we can show you the stocks that will scream lower when the stock market shows really any form of weakness. So, and you get all this report, you can come in, you add it to cart, you buy it, you get a ton of stuff. It's great. That's how we make money. Hopefully, you buy a run. I want to thank you for watching. I'm Jeffrey Cohen. We have no position in Skillz. This is not investment advice. This is just idle chit-chat. We are not paid by anyone to make this video. We are not paid by Cafe El Moro, which is Puerto Rico's finest coffee, which we buy 6 ounces at a time for $1.25. We are not sponsored by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Chocolate and peanuts. Love it. And there you have it. Thanks for watching. If you like it, please hit the subscribe button. Please give me a thumbs up, drop a comment. We love that. We'll respond to your comments. You take care. Have a great day now. Bye-bye.